think we on. Yeah, we on. We on. We on. Yeah, thank y'all. Welcome to Hotel Ish, Intelligent Ish Talk, Intelligent Shit Talk. We here live on YouTube, on Restream. Restream got us going to YouTube, Instagram, not Instagram, everything but Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, 4 different Facebook pages, Twitter, Periscope, all that shit. So we got the chat room gonna be joining us as people come in. Usually I don't broadcast early, but I wanted to make sure I got this out. We got in the studio. You see him over there smoking a blunt. Man, I wish I could smoke one right now.
It's a good thing.
Man, Mr. Stacey Taylor. What's up, brother?
What's up, my brother? How you doing, DeJuan?
Man, I'm good, man. I'm good, man. How about yourself, man? Oh, did we lose him?
No, I'm happy as a motherfucker.
Woke up next to a woman and not a silly. I feel you right there. I feel you right there.
It's a different feeling.
You know, right? Yeah, people could we could take this thing out here for granted, you know.
Oh yeah, a whole lot of us do, because we feel like our lives have no value, really. You know what I mean? We put our value in monetary things, and cars, jewelry. You know what I mean? And that's what it propels us to, go out here and commit these, erroneous crimes out here, and take chances with our own lives and other people's lives as well.
Yeah, man, that's pretty big, and I wanted to just let everybody know why Stacey's here today. First of all, Stacey's a comedian. I met him on stage. Super talented, super funny.
Appreciate it.
But Stacey spent more than 2 decades locked up in prison.
23 years. Well,
23 years.
It was 22 years, 10 months, 11 days, 32 minutes, and 52 seconds to be exact. You know what I mean?
52 seconds.
52 seconds. Well, give or take on the second, because I did have a tear in my left eye, so shit got a little blurry, so I can't be for sure, you know what I mean? But 52, 53, around there, you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. So, yeah, man. So I was there, when you first got out and you was on stage, you know what I mean? And I just remember saying how happy you was to be out. You were telling everybody your story, and I just remember being so impressed, you know what I mean? Because my initial reaction when we met was, this is a solid dude. You know what I mean? I said he has a very high vibration about him. He has a good spirit. It was good to see, because just in your energy, it's very obvious you didn't let these motherfuckers break you.
Oh, no.
You stayed strong. And now you winning in this comedy game. So I want you to tell the people your story.
Well, at 22, I got 22 I got arrested. At 23, I got sentenced to a life sentence. I got busted for 40 gallons of PCP, and that was in 1992. I bailed out on that case, and while fighting that case, I caught an attempted murder robbery. And in 1995, they gave me a life sentence. And I wound up doing almost 23 years of that life sentence and 5 board appearances before they decided that I was suitable to come back to society. And to be honest with you, that was the best thing that ever could happen to me. The worst thing that ever happened to me turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me, because my mentality and the way I felt and the way I, projected myself out in life, there's nowhere in the world I wouldn't have been in a worse position than I was already in then, without a doubt.
So basically, you got to, what I'm hearing is when you were locked down, you used your time. How did you use your time when you were in there?
Well, for one, at the beginning, the first 10 years, I was horrible. The first 10 years, shit. I was a prisoner. I was running dope in prison. I was stabbing motherfuckers. I was gang banging. Whatever it took to survive in prison. So, I participated in all those things because that was my mentality at the time. Violence was the answer to all problems. You know what I mean? And about 10 years sitting in, and realizing that I had a life sentence, and and fucking up wasn't gonna get me out. I had this aha moment. I went to in 2001, I went to my very first board consultation, and that's like they said, well, look, this year we'll consider letting you go home, but you got to bring us this, that, and other. You know what I mean? And so I came in there with a fucked up attitude, and I walked in there, and the lady, said, "Damn, you must like jail, because you burying yourself in this motherfucker." You know what I mean? And I said, "Oh, I got a life sentence. The likelihood of me going home is like hitting the lottery." You know what I mean? I just seen the odds of hitting the lottery was like 1 in a billion or some shit like that. You know what I mean? So I had that acknowledged in my head, and I went in there and I thought I was popping peas. I said, "Oh yeah, likelihood of me going home is like me hitting the lottery." Yada, yada, yada. The lady looked at me like I was a real fool, and I really was. And she was like, she said, I really, she said, "I usually wouldn't do this, but let me show you something." And reached into a briefcase and slid me a little folder. And she asked me that. She knew I could read because she had all my information there. I had 12.5, GED, had a few college courses under my belt. So she knew I could read, but I was sounding so stupid as I was talking. She had to, ask me again. Then she was like, "Can you read, Mr. Taylor?" I said, "Yeah, I can read." She said, "Well, read this here." And the paper she slid me was showing me motherfuckers that they was paroling. You know what I mean? That was in worse situations than I was in, who had killed somebody. You know what I mean? I just had a aiding and abetting an attempted murder. I was with a motherfucker who shot a motherfucker. You know what I mean? And I seen that, and that was like a wake-up call. I was like, man, I'm tripping. You know what I mean? And I just really started digging in deep, and I realized that, something was wrong, with me. Not society, which something's wrong with society as well, but I was part of the problem. You see what I'm saying? And not the solution. And I was broken. I was a broken little boy who grew up to be a broken young man, who wreaked havoc and, chaos on society because I was bitter. You know what I mean? I had daddy issues like a stripper. You know what I mean? And so since I'm fat, I ain't gonna be a stripper. So I couldn't get on the pole when I got out. So I had to fix it. I had to fix it. So shit, the stripper was out. You know what I mean? So, I while I sit in prison, the last like 12 years, 13 years, I had to reflect back on life, and I found myself. You know what I mean? I found the problem, and because in order to fix something, you got to know what the problem is. And see, I never thought I had a problem. You know what I'm saying? I thought this was the way life was. This was where it's supposed to be. No, it wasn't. And most problems that happen with people that grow up they go into prison or be violent or live a destructive lifestyle. It comes from childhood trauma. And until that childhood trauma is fixed, you got a broken person walking around in life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what I learned while I was sitting in prison. I learned that I was broken.
It's two things I want to get into with what you said. One, I want to get to what you're talking about, the trauma, because that's what I used to deal with in my profession all day at work, and I still do. Then that's why working with kids for so long, I got to understand the larger thing with society, because I was once that dude that lived on the west side that judged niggas going in and out of jail like these niggas just need to do better. I was that dude at one point in my life. But then when I got to work with these people up front, one, I got to see, hold on, they only putting the most intelligent boys in special education, the ones that think for themselves, and they calling them a problem. And then that's that child, I'm seeing, with these kids, once they self-identify as a problem, they then act it out. Because when you look at the images, when black boys see themselves on TV, they either see themselves rapping, I can't rap, or dunking a basketball, I'm 5'2". I ain't gonna never do that. The only other images you see is shooting and killing. And if you don't have no one in the home, no one around, no environment that's going to counteract that image, you create somebody who's gonna go down that path. And so that's when I say, hold on, I gotta stop judging this shit and see what we got to do to fix this shit.
That's right.
Another thing you said that stuck out to me was you was with a nigga that did something and you ended up going to jail.
Without a doubt.
That's what happens in the black community. When people always talk about...
But see, I ain't going to play innocent. I'm not going to play innocent to the situation. But wasn't nobody supposed to be shot. But it was like more, long story, you know what I mean? But anyway... The thing of the matter is, if you got intent to go out and commit a crime, anything that happens in the midst of that crime, you are responsible for.
I get you. You're right. And you know what? I remember when they brought those laws in the early '90s here in California. We were the first state to really bring a lot of those all-in laws.
Yeah.
This is what I'm always talking about when I talk about racism within the court system, because I get that in theory and I understand it in theory, but it's not practiced all around.
Oh, no, not without a doubt it's not.
It's only practiced on us because Dylan Roof, when he shot at that church, his dad bought him that gun. If a black dad buy a black kid a gun, that whole family going to prison. That kid at that rally, his mama drove him to the rally across state lines, a minor with an assault rifle, and she's still walking. That's what we always talk about. Whenever we're talking about racism in the court system, I just want to make it clear to listeners, whenever I'm talking about racism in the court system, this is what I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm not saying that if someone didn't do something, they don't deserve the crime. I'm not saying people shouldn't serve the sentence for things they did or didn't do. What I'm saying is, however you're going to apply it, be fair across the board. That's all I'm saying.
Without a doubt.
That's why you have so many of us in prison. You know, they say, oh, all these black. Because if one person commits a crime and 20 go to jail, of course it's going to be. Come on now.
Without a doubt. See, the thing of it is that we put ourselves in situations that the law can't snatch us from the street because we're living destructive lifestyles anyway. So it's easy for them just to wash a person up and say, you know what? He's worthless. He ain't gonna never be nothing. You know, his daddy wasn't nothing. His mom ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, so let's take him off the street. You know what I mean? Let's save society. But, you know, the fucked up part about that is that a lot of good people get lost in the system because they done things that, you know, that society feels, you know, they can't come back from. You know what I mean? But that's not the case because I had a life sentence, you know, and that, you know, going to do that time and then coming back home again, man, I'm living the best life I ever could have lived. You know what I'm saying? I'm a model citizen. You know, I done got off parole and shit all my life. I've been going to jail since I was 14 years old. So I've been home now. December will be 4 years. This will be the longest I done been home in one time since I was 14 years old. I done been on probation or parole or in jail all throughout that time of my life. You know what I mean? So I'm redeemable. I have redeemed myself. You know what I mean? But not due to the state. You know, as far as, you know, the knowledge you have to go seek yourself. You know, I learned something, you know, when I was a kid, I used to always hear people say, if you want to hide something from a nigga, put it in the book. You know what I mean? So I started picking up a whole lot of books. And when I started picking up the books, a whole lot of knowledge started coming to me. You know what I mean? Like in 2005, the book that, you know, I pinpoint for made the greatest change of who I am today is a book called The Secret. I picked a book up called The Secret by Rhonda Brines. And it talked about energy. It talked about energy. Like you said, you know, when you met me, you felt my energy. You know what I mean? So it talked about energy, and it talks about the energy you put out in the universe, and the same energy comes back to you. So I said, well, shit, you know, that's pretty good. And then, you know, because I'm pretty slow. I'm from LA. So when they had the part that said all I had to do was change my thoughts, I said, well, shit, I ain't got to do a quiz or, you know what I mean? Test or none of that. I got to do is just change my thoughts, and I can change my life. But shit, I'm in prison with a life sentence. What do I got to lose? You know what I'm saying? What I got to lose? I changed my thoughts, man, and I sit right here on this podcast with you, not in jail, not waking up to a celly. The celly I got now, hump her every night, though. I got a good celly now. We good. You know what I'm saying? We feel good. I can hump my celly now. Could hump my celly before. You know what I'm saying? But I'm humping the shit out of my celly now. We humping regularly. So, you know, life is what you make it. You know what I mean? Like you say, the energy you put out in the universe, that's the energy to come back to you. So I'm putting out positive energy in the universe now. And that's what's coming back to me.
Yeah, man. For those listening, thank y'all for listening to hotepbish.com. Thank y'all for listening. Thank my guest Stacey Taylor for joining us here live. Yeah, because when I first met you, I remember when we came home and through now, when you see Stacey has a big smile. You come through the comedy club. It's been a couple times I've come through his club. I wasn't even planning on getting on stage. He walk up to you, hey, yo, man, I can only give you 5 minutes. I can only give you 5 minutes. And I'm over here thinking, shit, thank you. I was just coming to support y'all night, brother. That's the kind of dude this cat is. And so I want to say to us, like, oftentimes a rhetoric that bothers me is from quote unquote squeaky clean people. I want to preach to them real quick, to us real quick, to all y'all real quick, because I'm one of those people. You know what I mean? I ain't never had no tickets. I ain't never like, I'm super on the squeaky clean side of the game, you know? And I quote unquote. And I hear people who quote unquote don't have anything on record, with nothing on record about their behavior. And they tend to have a heavy judgment to those who do.
Yeah.
I want to say that judgment doesn't get us anywhere.
No.
Because at the end of the day, like Neely Fuller said, we in a system that when a brother gets successful, they try to cut him off his knees. We all in a prison. It ain't no free black man in America. It's just different levels of confinement that we're in.
That's it.
When it comes to our social environment, the only freedom exists in our mind. That's where freedom exists. But when it comes to the context of our environment in this country, in this world, there's no freedom of movement. Try to go to another country and not have a passport and watch the government bitch slap your ass and say, go back home. We ain't free. So there's no time for judgment for those who've gotten caught up. Because we all done some shit. It's just everybody ain't been caught.
That's it.
Stacey, what are some things people who haven't had interaction with the system, what are some ways we can interact, reach out, and help? And when I say help people, I want to be very clear. Help doesn't mean I'm doing some shit to take an Instagram picture. Help don't mean I'm doing something just so I can feel good at the end of the night. Help means we have an issue as a community that only we gonna solve. They ain't gonna solve this shit for us. Right. How can I play my part to help and humble myself to help solve this issue? People with that mindset, what can they do to reach out and connect with brothers who coming out to make the journey a little bit easier for them?
Well, you know, they got all kind of programs now. They call them reentry programs where, you know, brothers come home and they ain't got to worry about the pressure of life, just like paying bills or where you gonna live or how I'm gonna eat. You know what I mean? They got these kind of places where you can just, where the inmates, you know, when you get out of jail, you go there. They give you free room and board. They help you get your driver's license, help you your ID, all the paperwork you need to be official out here, help you find jobs. And you stay in that program for 6 months. Once you get a job, they give you a bank account. They make you save so much of your check, you know what I mean? Because you don't need no money for nothing. They feeding you and clothing you. You know, I mean, you know, stuff like that. So you stay, like, for instance, I did 6 months in a program called Amity in LA, right? And I worked and I came home with like $1,900.
Okay.
I saved up. You know what I'm saying? I had nothing to do with my money. So they made me, I actually saved my money. I got my check, I had to get them so much of my check every month. I mean, every paycheck, you know what I mean? So them kind of programs help help people. But the bigger problem is you have to go reach the youth. See, to stop them from even getting to the prisons. See, if you can reach the youth first and get them programs and get them a better understanding of ideals in life, then we can even skip the whole prison program and people getting out of prison. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, most of it stems from childhood trauma. And black folks, we ain't got the money for therapy or we don't believe in it. One of the two. You know what I mean? And so if you put a bullet on if you put a Band-Aid on the bullet wound, you know, you ain't gonna stop the blood from coming. You know what I mean? You may slow it down a little bit to some degree and patch it up, but you know, it ain't fixed. You know what I mean? And you have to fix it. So until we, you know, and even deeper than that, until, you know, black men stop having kids and not being able to take care of their kids and be there for them, you know what I mean? Because that's a major problem. It's my problem. You know, having a father, you know, in and out of my life, really not stable. And as a kid, you know, that makes you feel some kind of way. You know what I mean? You feel, you know, you feel rejected. You feel abandoned. You know what I mean? And so for me, that led me to the streets because now I'm looking for the love that I feel I ain't getting it at home. I'm looking for this father figure. You know what I mean? So when I run into the big homie and he give me the dope sack, you know, I think he love me. You know what I mean? Because my daddy ain't did shit. You know what I'm saying? But he gonna give me a dope sack, tell him put some money in my pocket. This nigga love me. You know what I'm saying? You know, so now I want to be a part of where he from because he's showing me love that, you know, I feel his love at the time. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, it starts, you know, way
Way
back.
back.
Way back. You know, for me, I was fucked up as a child. You know what I mean? So the minute, you know, at 11 years old, I was hanging with one of the biggest weed dealers, you know, in LA at the time. You know, and by 12, I was selling weed. You know what I'm saying? By 13, I graduated to crack. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, and I look at that age now, and I see a 11 and 12-year-old, 13-year-old child, and I say, wow. You know what I mean? What the fuck was I doing? You know what I'm saying? I was my mama's baby, but I thought I was grown. You know what I mean? I thought I was really grown. So it's like, it starts there. You know what I mean? But like, so people need to just, it's a lot of programs out here, you know, like ARC got a program for guys who get out of prison. They help them get reestablished back into society again. A dude named Scott Bucknick do a lot of things for prisoners. He working real big on prison reform. You know, he's the reason why a lot of guys who got life sentences and life without is on the streets right now.
Okay.
You know, this guy got this.
What's his name?
His name is Scott Bucknick. He run a program called ARC, A-R-C.
Okay.
And man, he doing big things, man. I mean, he done walked, I know at least 15, 20 brothers that done had life without sentence that he done walked up out the penitentiary. And they out here doing amazing things right now. You know what I mean? And society had washed them up and said, you know what? You're going to die in prison. We're going to never let you out no more. You know what I mean? But due to that prison reform bill, Scott Bucknick got a lot of things changed around where they took a lot of dudes who had life without sentences and gave them 25 to life. And they had been in prison already 20, 35 years, 30 years already. So all it took after that point was to go to the parole board and get walked out the door. You know what I mean? So, so you know, and you got to be big on the laws when you vote. That's another key thing. You got to vote. You know what I mean? And read the small print. You know, like a lot of people voted in 3 strikes. They thought that was the shit because they sold it, but they missed the small print of it. You see what I'm saying? And it whooped everybody for years. And it's still whooping motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
Whooping motherfuckers.
For years. Because people didn't read the small print. You know, so you got to vote. You got to read what you vote. If you can vote, you know, for non-felons. If you can vote, you know, you got to go out here and vote. Like they're trying to pass a bill now. If you're an ex-felon and you off parole, you didn't get the state back, you know, the time and the punishment, you know, you did that already. So why can't I vote now? Why can't I be a citizen and vote and have, you know, my priorities, you know, and my dreams and my hopes, you know, count for something, you know, on a vote. But
you said a couple things I want to get a little deeper on. You said 2 things. One, you're talking about we're gonna read the fine print when it comes to voting, because like that was a very key point. Because oftentimes when it comes to people, the argument a lot of people make is vote or don't vote. Yeah. That's not the argument. It's not a black or white argument. It's about reading what you're voting for and understanding it. And if that vote is going to do something to help you and your people, you vote for it. If it's not going to help you and your people, you vote against it. You don't look at somebody and say, they're a Democrat, they're black, they're a woman, and then vote for that person. No. Because over here, we say, okay, let's vote Democrat, let's vote Democrat, let's vote Democrat. But you see, it's the Democrats that write these goddamn laws that give black only, like, the laws are for everybody, but it's only the black people that get persecuted for it. And then they say, oh, we need more Democratic judges. The Democratic judges are the ones putting 28 to life on niggas for standing next to a nigga that did something. So vote, read the fine print before you vote. The other thing you said something about back when you first started that I wanted to key in on, and this is something that I realized in my work with children. You said you were 14 when you went in.
My very first case, I was 14 years old.
But you started going on the streets when you was 11. But you said people always think that when people join gangs, they quote unquote join gangs, they're joining gangs to start shit. That's not what it is.
Not what it
is. The way the system works is it uses your youth and your humanity against you. A boy without direction is lost, and girls can get a little more logical and think their way through it. Boys really got to experience things.
They're a little smarter than us.
They're a little smarter than us. Hell yeah. And boys got to experience things. That's why in traditional societies, boys have rites of passage type things for boys to go through these things so they're not going around fucking up the whole world. What happens is, back in the 60s when they removed the fathers from the home because they took all those jobs away, so men who can't provide wander. So that's why Stacey said what he said: if you can't provide, just don't have a fucking kid. You know what I mean? On our end, that's one way that we can help. On the other end, you see where society says, okay, this young man didn't have a father. We're not going to give him any real direction. He's going to follow, like any human being on earth, you're going to follow where you're loved.
That's right.
Love isn't a I love you. Love is putting food in somebody's stomach. That's love. That's the only way we communicate that shit. When we get down to the meat and bones of it.
Tangible items.
Tangible items. That's love.
That's love.
And I would have kids that I work with that were selling like candy and like socks at Venice Beach when they were 7 and 8 years old to buy their own school clothes. And so people want to sit around and judge. Why is that kid dealing drugs at 12 or 13 years old? Well, when you're in an environment where you got to fend for yourself, what are you going to do? You're going to make the most money that you can make possible. You can't think about college as an 11-year-old and you're hungry. That's 7 years away, people. You can only think about college if all that other shit is taken care of.
One thing's for sure, man. If you throw a motherfucker in the middle of the ocean, two things gonna happen. You're gonna either sink or swim. You know what I'm saying? Straight out. You know what I mean? And the first survival is the swim. Should be. You know what I mean? So desperate times calls for desperate measures. You know what I mean? And as a child, without God, see, for once, guidance is the key, like you said. You know what I mean? You got to have somebody you can, image yourself to as a child, because that's what we trying. That's what we doing. We're trying to find ourselves through the people that surround us, who looks like us. You know what I mean? And how they represent themselves is what we see. A child. As a kid, I don't know nothing but what somebody else tell me. You know what I mean? So that's all I know.
You can't drive to the library when you 8.
You know what I mean? So whatever somebody tell me is what I know. That's why, like, I got a granddaughter now. She just turned 8. And one thing about kids, they ask a million questions. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it's annoying as an adult, but you got to understand it, because all the information they know, for the most part, comes from you right now. You know what I mean? So you got to make sure you're giving them vital and true information. You know what I mean? Because you're planting the seed. You're planting the first seed. So, them seeds are going to sprout. So if you give them bullshit's going to sprout from them seeds. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful. So, but kids ask a lot of questions and they want to know because they're inquisitive. So you have to make sure, you got to take sometimes, I'm busy. You got to take the time out and answer them questions. You know what I mean? Because as a child, I don't know how other people feel, but I know me, it's a lot of things that happen as a child, little small things, like when I felt rejected and how it hurt it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, let me show you something. Boy, I ain't got time right now. Oh, you know what I mean? As a child, it's like, okay, that's...
A child, what happens with children is when parents and adults, the people that they love the most, reject them, they internalize it as a child don't see, hey, mommy had a tough day at work.
None of that.
See, I'm not good enough because mommy didn't have time for me.
That's right.
And it's a thinly layered thing. That day after day, you got to realize by the time a child reaches 11, he's had 11 years of get away from me.
That's right.
If you've had 11 years of get away from me,
you're not coming.
What are you going to do?
You're going to stop coming.
And where are you going to go?
You're going to go somewhere else to find that, where when you show up, you feel accepted. People want to see you. People want to see what you want to show them. You know what I mean? So, big key. Big key, man.
This is the way I see, quote unquote, gang culture. Black people in America have always been survivors. Before the welfare system became a big thing, If a child got kicked out of the home early, there was always a home somewhere in the black in the neighborhood where orphans were, where children without parents were accepted,
Without a
children
doubt.
whose parents passed away. There was always one mother in the neighborhood that took.
Somebody go to
We've
her
always
house.
had, we've always had these communities within the system that the TV show's gonna tell you we was just slaves, we was going through Jim Crow, we was hogging and bogging. No, we've always had organized systems within our community.
Of
When it
love.
comes to the street system, the streets were an organized system to guard against outside forces.
Absolutely.
Every community in the United States who's been forced into ghettos have had street organizations. The Italians, the Germans, the Dutch, the
You
Irish,
name them.
the Jewish, they all got mafias.
You
But
name them.
we celebrate the Godfather because niggas who survived the same way, throwaways.
Without a
We got
doubt.
to understand our street organizations were places for people who did not have that community within their home to go to.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, it was undermined when the United States government created crack at UCLA, perfected it in Berkeley, and brought it back down to LA through Tootie Reese and distributed it through the streets. They put his black ass name out there, but as Maxine Waters and Dick Gregory pointed out, it was the government behind it. And so what you see is victims of circumstance. That's what I mean by victim. It's not playing a victim card. It's acknowledging history.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. See, because it's like, it's like, you if you put somebody like this is something we used to say in prison all the time. If you starve two motherfuckers in the cell together, right? They ain't ate in a week. You put one plate of food in that motherfucker. You think they're gonna share it? Not at all. Not at all. Somebody gonna kill somebody in that motherfucker for that plate of food. You know what I'm saying? So they starved us. You see how I'm coming from? We ain't got nothing. Then you come and you show, you show my boy Rick Ross, hey, I can give you all these keys, nigga, at this price right here, and you can get a whole bunch of money. I need you to flood your community, though. I got you. Because he didn't see, this is another thing I learned in prison. In prison, I learned insight. See, if you don't have insight, you'll be lost forever. You know what I mean? Because you don't see the ramifications of your actions. So, like today, if you try to talk to Rick, he done flooded a community full of crack cocaine. People are still fucked up 30, 40 years later. You know what I mean? Still zombied out on the same shit. And he plays the part in that because that's his, he got to go to bed with that every night. You know what I mean? And so, but at the time, he didn't get it. Right now, you talk to him, I bet he totally, fully understand it. You know what I mean? So that's like today, like people say, like with me, I was a hell of a drug dealer, but I would never peddle poison to my people again. You know what I mean? I see people that I sold drugs to back before I went to jail still on drugs right now. And when I see them, it's like, wow. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like pity or sorry for them or nothing like that. I feel, remorse. You know what I mean? Because I know I played a part in this destruction of their lives. You know what I mean? And so people say, oh, well, they was going to do it anyway. Cool. Let somebody else would have sold it to them. I would have rather not have that. You know what I mean? On my head. Let the next nigga, let him buy it. Okay, cool. But I wouldn't want to be the person, who plays a part in tearing somebody's life up anymore. So that's why I'm a changed person myself, because I got insight, now, as opposed to I just want some tangible things. The funny part, I tell people before I got out of prison, I used to facilitate a lot of self-help groups, which is how I wound up getting out of jail and really understanding myself through these self-help programs. And it was like, as a drug dealer, smokers used to come to me and be like, what you need? And I get the place in order. It's like I'm finna send this nigga to Walmart. You know what I'm saying? Look, well, I need if you get a gun, I need any gun, some jewelry. Oh, I need a TV for the spot, too. Yeah, I need a TV for the spot. You want them good TVs, too, with the VCR on the motherfucker all hooked up. And I'm placing orders. But in hindsight, I'm not thinking that I'm sending this dude to go rob somebody's house. You know what I mean? I didn't see it like that. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, I couldn't see, I couldn't see it that far. But when I really started understanding the ramifications of the things I did, I said, well, damn, not only did I sell drugs, I played a part in every other crime that the person who went and committed to buy my drugs, I played a part in that crime as well. He didn't probably snatch some woman's purse, beat some, you know what I mean, anything. And came back to me and bought some drugs and I sold it to him. Not caring, with a care in the world, how he got this money. You know what I mean? So
you know what I say to that? You know, it's you said a lot right there, man. That was a lot of deep stuff you just said right there because it's on that morality train, you know, where what's moral, what's not. And for me, I used to be very judgmental. It's something that I had to, you know, slowly withdraw from.
yeah.
Because, you know, I say this. I used to do mortgages, you know?
Yeah.
And there was a lot of mortgage people. I didn't personally do this, but it's a lot of us that made a lot of money selling loans to people we knew they couldn't afford. And then now you got them putting all this money up. And so many black people lost properties between 2007 and 2013 with the market crash because they were giving loans that the person who wrote them, Steve Mnuchin, Treasury Secretary, One West Bank, he wrote these kind of loans knowing these people. And we, as loan officers, we didn't really know it, but we would look at their finances and see. And a person like me, I kind of backed off, but so many of them went ahead forward. So my question is this. For people who want to play moral, who's more moral? Immoral, the person that sold crack to one individual that decided they were going to get those drugs anyway, or the person who sold a loan to somebody that knew they couldn't afford it, which then caused a chain reaction and caused generational wealth to be lost. At the end of the day, when people are trying to eat, they make decisions that aren't always the best because at the end of the day, the first thing you need is oxygen. The second thing you need is water. The third thing you need is food. The fourth thing you need is community. Humans need community and connection just as strong as they need water, food. It's just behind air. So when those four things are lacking, food, water, shelter, the base level of the pyramid, they're going, not everybody, because this is how I see the hood. The hood is, say it's 100 people in an environment.
Yeah.
You throw enough food in there for 60 to eat. 20 or 30 are going to share. Another few are going to take a lion's share and like hog it. And then it's going to be about 30 or 40 that got to fight over the scraps. My question is always this: before you get to judging the people in the hood for their reaction, ask yourself, why does the wealthiest nation on earth have them in the hood to begin with? Because contrary to popular opinion, they always say black people on welfare, this and that. I say, okay, if that's true with black people, go to any black neighborhood at 11 in the morning. You ain't going to see hardly no cars on the street because most of them niggas is at work. Go to any white neighborhood at lunch. You're going to see cars everywhere. Either you motherfuckers ain't working or you got a 4-hour lunch break. Who the fuck is lying?
Well, see, a lot of that, a lot of that plays with education. You know what I mean? A lot of it plays with the knowledge. Just like, for instance, like I made a joke not too long ago about all this EDD money and all this grant money everybody winning with, right? And the thing of this is, white folks has been winning with this money. You know what I mean? We didn't know. We didn't have this kind of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Nigga didn't have this kind of knowledge and know-how because we didn't pick these books up. You know what I mean? To have this kind of understanding that when something go wrong in the world, it's some money for us. You know what I mean? So you didn't know how to get it. You didn't know how to get it. But now, with this information era, motherfucker know how to get it now. So now motherfuckers balling. I went to the swap meet the other day, man. They had the line in the jewelry store was like it was the county line. I said, these niggas got long money, boy. They finna buy all the jewelry in this motherfucker. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because niggas want jewelry. You know what I'm saying? So I got all this money. I got 10 racks, and I'm gonna go get me some jewelry. I'm thinking, you know what I mean? There's another thing that's fucked up. You get $10,000 from the man, and you gonna go buy some jewelry. Motherfucker whether wear his money, Motherfucker wanted to wear his money than to save his money. What is wrong with us?
Didn't get the knowledge. Stacey made a great point. Like I said, always be growing. Here at this show, I bring on these different guests because we're always talking about growing. It's all about getting information. One conclusion I made, being there working with the kids is the way I have, is black people aren't stupid. We're just misinformed. We don't know where to go. So on one hand, for those of us who do know where to go, it's upon us to pass the information around and tell those who don't. And for those who don't know shit, know you don't know shit, and do something about it. Get your knowledge game up. Because ain't no outside people gonna help us.
No.
That's just not gonna happen. We're gonna have to solve these problems internally. Stacey solved his own problem in his mind, in his life. He used the time that he had when he was locked up to solve his issues. Since Stacey's been out, he's been using his time to continue not only solving his issues, but leaving the baseline and growing. Like, okay, I got that part settled. Now let me grow to the next level. Because in life, we got to always keep going. We can't just get settled with where we are, because if you get settled where you are, you're going to end up falling back.
Without a doubt.
I think I see from Stacey. Stacey, talk to them about your growth before we get up out of here. I want you to talk to them about your growth and how you've grown since you've been out.
Well, you know, I kind of got a Cinderella story to some degree. I came home. You know, I believe in energy. Like I said, I picked a book up called The Secret, and I believe you can will things and people into your life. So, all the while I was in prison, I was telling people I'm coming home, even when I had a life sentence. I'm coming home. I'm going to be a comedian. So I finally got out, and a buddy of mine bumped into this lady named Sunda Coonkrest, who owns the LA School of Comedy, and she gave him a flyer. She told her I was funny. She called me. She said, I got a free tryout on Wednesday. I went down there, never done stand-up comedy in my life before, and just got out and just talked about the things that, you know, blew me out the water, like niggas in skinny jeans. Fucked me up when I came home. You know what I'm saying? You know? And some of these niggas feel like their mamas. You know what I mean? I said, what the fuck is going on? You know what I'm saying? I didn't know how to use the restroom. They had these new sinks. I took a piss and went to wash my hands. Ain't no knives on the sink. I'm throwing the fuck off. What the fuck? You know what I mean? So a lot of shit, you know. So I just talked about the shit that threw me off. So the lady loved me, called me the next day, said she wanted to be my manager. I went down there the next Wednesday. She was late because she's mixed, so the black part of her was late, so she was late. And me and this white guy was sitting out there, and I told him, like you said, I'll tell everybody my story. I'm telling my story. I'm home. Been home 90 days. I like this thing. I'm out here trying to be a comedian now. Come to find out, this dude named is Peter Drysdale. He owned all the Westfield malls. The man took a liking to me. They called me up the next day. She said, hey, remember the white guy you was talking to? I said, yeah. She said he liked you. I said, y'all got me fucked up because I was in the pen. I don't do get out like that. Wrong guy. You understand what I'm saying? I don't get out. She said, no, he's a billionaire. I'm like, yeah, whatever. He ain't no billionaire. Long story short, dude a billionaire. 30 days later, he give me a contract for $50,000. Fly me out to New York. Flew me around for a whole year telling jokes, dog. Bought me a BMW. And, you know, I've been out here. I done been on stage with Mike Epps, Katt Williams, Sherry Shepherd, Chris Spencer, just to name a few, Scruncho. And it's like, you know, what I've come to learn through all this is that the energy you put out in the universe, that's the energy going to come back to you. So however your life is today, you can change it with your thoughts, because thoughts become things. You know what I'm saying? Everything that started with a thought, it became a thing. This phone was a thought that we own. I'm looking at you on right now. Somebody thought this here. And look at the creation our thoughts can make. We are the biggest generation of the universe. We connected to the universe like a big generator. So, yep. You know, our energy that we put out there matters. That's like sometimes you can meet a person, and the very first time you meet him, you sound like that motherfucker. Damn, you just met him. His energy is off. I don't feel his energy. Then you can meet a motherfucker, and you just met him, you feel like you know him all over. Man, that's a good motherfucker, man, because his energy. You know what I mean? Your energy don't lie. People put masks on all day long, but the energy you exude out here in the universe, you can't lie about that. You know what I mean? So,
well, Stacey's talking about law of reciprocity. You get what you put out. That's a universal law right there. And
the law of attraction.
Law of attraction. People need to understand that if you run around life saying everybody's a hater, everybody got something out for me, you got to sit down and look in the mirror and ask yourself, what are you thinking first? Because we attract what we put out. Our environment, our inner circle, vibrates with whatever mindset that we own at that time.
Good or bad.
You know, and so Stacy's he's a living proof example of, you know, being thrown into you see the system did what it did to him, but at the end of the day it didn't break him because he took control of his thoughts. And we all have that problem. Ain't no such thing. White supremacy can't stop you from getting confidence in yourself and from you learning and from you growing as a person. It can only be a system that if you fuck up, it can catch you. That's all the fuck you can do. But if you learn to control this up here and then you had a confidence, people say, okay, how can I do this? How do I control my thoughts? How do I, you know, visualize things? Look, we all get dreams, daydreams, night dreams. We get ideas. But most of the time, what happens is when we get these ideas and think about how great they can be, the first thing we do is say, oh, no, not me. That can't happen. Not me. I'm just blah, blah, blah.
We put the first doubt in. That's it. Once that doubt, when you put that first doubt in, everything else is over.
Done.
Done.
Minute you say I can't do it, done. You're done.
You're done.
So you got to have the confidence to know that that thought came to you because it's for you. It's unique to you.
Right.
Like me, so I didn't do this. It took me years to finally get a full-time commitment to doing this. It had been a thought for a long time.
Yeah.
One day I was like, you know what? I got to materialize that thought because I ain't got the thought to go hunting for volcanoes in the middle of the mountains.
Absolutely.
But there's people out there who hunt for volcanoes in the middle of the mountains and they make a lot of money doing it.
Yes, they do.
Because that's the thought that came to their head. And they went ahead and did it. Some people's thought is, okay, I'm going to build a new car. And they went ahead and did it. You got your own unique set of thoughts. And you think, oh, not me. It's somebody else. No, that's for you, people.
That's for you.
That's God's gift to you.
That's right.
What you got to do what Stacey said and get you off your ass and do it. What did you do, Stacey, in prison? You didn't just read The Secret and think about it. You applied it. You had a class.
You got to apply it.
You was teaching niggas.
You got to apply it, dog. The whole thing about life is applying yourself. If you get up every day and apply yourself to what you're committed to, you're going to excel in life, period. But if you get up every day and you put doubt in yourself, but you get up and you, this is going to be hard. You know what I mean? That's what you bring. That's the energy that's the energy you bring to you. That's the energy you bring to the table. The same energy you putting out. So all the doubts and all the negative vibes, that's the energy. So that's what's going to happen. You're going to have a negative result because the universe don't distinguish good or bad or right from wrong. All they do is all the universe do is focus in on whatever your energy is that you putting out at that time. You know what I mean? So if it's negative, you're going to get negative results. If it's positive, you're going to get positive results. There's no in between with the universe. It don't have that gray area. It's one way or the other. You know what I mean? So
in other words, don't think something positive and then go back to doubting it. You're going to get that. You're going to get the doubt, homie.
Believe any thought that come to you, believe that you can do it. Like, for instance, I can't make this up. My wife. Now, I met my wife in the penitentiary on the illegal cell phone I bought from the police. I can't make this shit up. Now, right? She's stayed down for 6 years with me. So, and I tell her, I said, I'm gonna come on and be a comedian. She said, comedian? She like, you funny, but you're not comedian funny. I said, okay. Damn, all right. Your bad. You know what I mean? And when I came home and I got to signing all the paper, and I was sitting in New York City, and I FaceTimed her from the big old hotel on the 57th floor, the fucking hotel bigger than the 3-bedroom apartment we got in Carson. Mm-hmm. I said, hey, baby, remember you said you didn't think I was comedian funny? She said, yes. I said, yeah. You said that. I make her eat them words on the regular every time. Now I got my own show. You know what I mean? Been having my own show for over a year at the Sugar Shack in LA, 1827 West Imperial Highway. You know what I mean? For over a year. And every time we have a successful show and I want to dig at her, I say, she said, what, baby? I said, maybe you say you think I was comedian funny.
I want to make sure to plug that for the people. For those of you who are in LA, it's quarantine time, but certain things are open. There is an outdoor face mask comedy show
Yes.
every Thursday night at the Sugar Shack here in LA. It's Stacey Taylor and Slink Johnson, aka Black Jesus. And I've been seeing it, man, the last couple Thursdays, because I also do a show here every Thursday from 8 to 9.
Yeah.
So the last couple Thursdays, I've been wanting to go, but it's just been like, damn, like so, and I keep forgetting. So this coming Thursday, I'm gonna come up there to support.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, so I want y'all to go because the shows we packed out is always funny people up at these shows. Stacey's the kind of person that he's the kind of booker. Even though a show is booked and he sees somebody funny that's gonna bless the room, make it better, come in the room, he gonna put them on stage. So at the end of the day, that means you're gonna have a better night.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So the better experience. So I want to make sure y'all go to his room if you're here in LA on Thursday night.
1827.
Huh?
I'm at 1827 West Imperial Highway, Los Angeles, California, 947. Right next to Church's Chicken. So black
Wait,
folks.
say that again. I'm gonna type it in. I'm gonna type it in. Say it again.
1827 West Imperial Highway, Los Angeles, California, 947. The Sugar Shack.
All right, cool. I'm out the Sugar Shack, and when y'all get there, it's kind of around the back. You know what I mean? It's kind of low key. So I want to make sure y'all know here. It's on the bottom right here. Sugar Shack, 1827 West Imperial Highway.
The parking lot next to Churches belongs to us. It's called cash loans. You can park into that parking lot. That belongs to us. We also got a parking lot in the back. You can park in the back too. So lots of parking. You ain't got to walk down the street in your heels. If you ladies want to wear some heels, you ain't got to walk 2 blocks to get to the place. Everything is right there, convenient for you. Come get you some laughs, have some fun. We got the bomb tacos down there. You got the bomb sliders.
Those tacos are good than the motherfucker, boy.
Motherfucker. We got the drinks are reasonable and the vibe is lovely down there.
You know, I want to tell y'all right now, they got them nigga tacos. You know what I mean? And another thing Stacey said, he said the vibe is lovely. People be like, for you people who live in the valley or imports new to LA, y'all be like, I'm not gonna go there. That looks like it's in the hood. Look, motherfucker. Down in the hood is where you gonna find the love.
That's real love.
It's not like the movie Colors, nigga. Them days it's not 1988. It's not Boys in the Hood.
None of that.
You're not gonna see Doughboy and Ferris getting into any shootouts.
No, none of that.
Down in the hood, you got a lot of love, man. You got people. It feel like family when you up in there.
Hey, and we've been over there 15 months right now.
What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Stacey, Stacey comedian.
Hey, I want y'all to follow his Instagram because this nigga's Instagram be having me dying laughing. I don't know where the fuck he be finding these pictures and memes, but you could tell Stacey is got something else going on because he'll sit down, it'll be about an hour, but it'll be about 6 or 7 posts, and each one of them motherfuckers gonna have you dying laughing.
Yes, sir.
So I want y'all see his Instagram down here below. And like going back to what we were saying about the Sugar Shack. The Sugar Shack is a place of love. It's a beautiful environment. You're gonna get to see Stacey funny ass on stage.
And it's smoke friendly. And it's smoke friendly too. Don't forget that part.
Oh yeah. And that's important. I'm glad you remind me. In the back, you can hit that weed.
It's very smoke. No, inside you can hit the weed too. Shit.
Oh, yeah, inside too. It's vented.
Yeah, you know, but it's instant. We having a good time. So
you get to hit the weed and crack them jokes and listen to them good jokes. So I want y'all to try that.
Yes, sir. I'll be on the stage going.
I want to thank you for coming on. Do you have any closing thoughts, man? Anything last you want to say, get it out, my brother. Take as long as you want.
Well, listen, I would like to share this with people. I ain't going to make it long. I like to be short and sweet, but what I've come to learn in life is that nobody remembers how you start. They only remember how you finish. Look at Bill Cosby. We ain't going to remember Bill for the Cosby Show. All we going to remember Bill was giving ugly white bitches pills. That's all I'm going to remember about Bill. That's it. He fucked it off for me. So that's it. You know what I'm saying? So regardless of what you've been through, what you're going through, you know, you can always come from the other side in a brighter light. You just got to believe in yourself.
That's all I'm talking right there. And like what Stacey said, get that book, The Secret. Get
Secret.
the video. You know, understand that the power does lie within you, and you create the environment within you, and that shines out to the environment around you. Again, I want to thank Stacey. Y'all see his social media right here at the bottom. My name is Dewan B. Tomorrow we have a special guest that's coming on. She was there's a story on her on Amazon Prime called I forgot the name of it. You'll see it tomorrow. But anyway, she was raped by the Compton PD back in the mid '90s while on duty, and
Wow.
she's since grown from being raped to being someone who rescues women from human trafficking.
Wow.
And she rescues people and she fixes people and helps people out. Similar to Stacey, someone who started off a certain way, but came out a new way. We're going to have her on tomorrow, and we're going to get the documentary name for you. So tune in tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, and remember this. There are no perfect messengers, only perfect messages.
That's it.
Those who are willing to pick up game. That's your choice. My name is Dewan B. We out. Thanks, Stacey.